What's up, everybody? I know I've been a little late. This is basically 2 weeks without vlogs. Or by the time you get this, it might have been 2 weeks without vlogs. And, sorry lady, didn't mean to run you over. It's like everybody's going to work right now. So, anyway, I know it's been 2 weeks without vlogs, but lately I've been having a hard time coming up with content topics and all that kind of stuff, and having some gusto in my vlogs. It's really hard to continually be outgoing, positive, and have things to talk about. I mean, eventually you run out of crap to talk about, which is where I'm at now. And so my content is probably going to come, sorry, I scratched my nose, a little slower. I'm thinking I only want to make 25 or 26 vlogs a year, maybe 30, instead of 52. Which, if I was going to do 52, I got to start cranking them out. I mean, not to say my other content will not happen or anything like that, but I want to build up my bank, start getting things a little more nice and all that kind of stuff. Maybe put a few more time lapses. Basically, I want a better structure. But I do have an interesting premise for you guys. It's some thoughts on a book, actually. The book is called On a Pale Horse, and if anybody's very biblical or knows anything about the Bible, death rides a pale horse. And the book is about death. Not in the way you'd think. It follows a guy, his name is Zane. Zane lives in a world that has technology and mysticism, so you can get things like wealth stones, love stones, healing stones, all this kind of stuff. There's black magic, there's white magic, black being evil, of course, and white being, I guess, holier than thou magic. White spells are like nothing crazy. Black magic's more like heal me from the dead kind of thing, and it costs a lot of your soul. But this guy, Zane, trades the love of his life for a wealth stone. Zane is down on his luck and needs some way to pay the rent. He's a couple months backlogged. He used to be a photographer of some sort. Sounds familiar, right? And he takes this wealth stone that he trades the love of his life for, goes home, and he says, seek. It's the activation word for the spell. And it goes and finds some pennies, and then it runs out of juice because it's a crappy spell. He got duped is what it is. So he's like, crap, what am I gonna do? And goes to shoot himself, and death walks in the door as this is happening. And as this is happening and he sees death, he decides to point the gun at death instead and shoots death in the eye, and the skull starts bleeding out like crazy, and the guy falls to the floor. A woman walks in and says, well, help me out. She starts taking the cloak and the shoes and the gloves off of him, and Zane, of course, is like, what the hell's going on? And you immediately get inducted into the role that death is in office. Death, the office holder of death, dons the cloak and basically does death's job. And death is the guy who runs around and collects souls that are in balance. If you're super bad, you just go straight to hell. If you're super good, or you're more on the good side, you go straight to heaven. If heaven and hell are kind of about you, like, I'm not entirely sure, death comes, collects the soul, weighs it, measures it, sends it to the right place. Death resides in purgatory. Death is also immortal and cannot die of old age, but he can die from damage. The cloak protects you from damage. If you shoot somebody in the face, the cloak doesn't really do anything because it's not protecting you. He also gets the scythe, which does multiple things, of course. And he also gets the Pale Horse, Mortis, which can transvert himself into a car. Or sorry, transform himself into a car. And he can talk. Not like to anybody, but Zane's got a translation gem, which anything that talks or wants to communicate with him can at that point. He just hears it as whatever tongue he speaks. Zane, as he gets further into the plot, discovers that he is almost a pawn in this situation, but the Office has a deeper agenda with him. And Zane winds up being a better death than the last one. Because of one thing. And the book, or as the book unravels, or as you get further into the book, you will figure that out. Overall, I love the story. The character development was pretty good. You get a deeper feel for Zane and the people he's around. You find out that there is more than one office. One for time, nature, war. And I cannot remember the other one. But time is pretty cool when he shows up. He just kind of appears, and he has an hourglass that whenever he flips the hourglass, the sand starts going in the opposite direction, and time goes backwards. So every once in a while, you can call up one of your friends and say, hey, I need a favor. And of course the friend says, well, what do you need? So overall, basic plot is Satan's trying to control the world. That's what God and Satan are all about. God and Satan can't manipulate anything that happens in the world, but they can influence certain people or do certain things. And God has churches and Satan has billboards. He's a little more obvious with it. So Satan, of course, is trying to collect all the souls on Earth and win the war, kind of thing. And Zane tries to stop him via the normal, or via the twists and turns from the plot, which actually wound up being really good. I love the crap out of it. A bit torturous at times, but makes you go, what the hell? I mean, that's Satan. That's kind of normal. I would highly recommend checking it out. I just finished the first one a couple days ago. Can't wait to start the next one. But right now I'm about to read The Gunslinger because I've had that on my shelf for God knows how long, and now the movie's coming out, so yeah, I gotta finish that pretty fast. Feel free to write down in the comments below. I want to know what book you're reading, or the last book you did read, or if you want to get back into reading and you don't know what to read. You and I might have the same interests. Chances are, if you're watching my channel, we do. And I could give you some advice as to where to go. I haven't read very many books in my life, which I am ashamed to admit. But I'm trying to rectify that, and basically every night before I go to bed, I read for about an hour or half an hour-ish. I read for a little bit. Even if it's like 10 minutes. Screw it. I could, you know, cram down 5, 10 pages, whatever, 20 pages. Depends. But also, if you have a terrible time like me reading because you're dyslexic, it just takes longer, I know. But you can do it, don't worry. Even if you have to read the same sentence like 30 times, just keep going. Either way, talk to you all later. See ya.